August 25th, 2015 Board of Supervisors meeting to order. It's 9 a.m. I'll note we have a quorum. If everyone will please rise. We have Alan Wilder of St. Hills Community Church to do our invocation, and please remain standing for the pledge.
Let us pray. Dear Jesus, we recognize this morning that we've given an awesome privilege to serve our fellow citizens as leaders and as stewards of this great county and its resources. Lord, we would also confess that we are a dull and ordinary lot who have risen above our means and have been, Lord, we've been asked to take on tasks that are above us. And so, Lord, we would pray that you would sharpen us.
August 25th, 2015
And that you would help us to be extraordinary in our reliance upon you and your word and your wisdom.
Everyone will please rise.
Lord,
we have
we would
Alan
pray that you
Wilder
would
of St.
inspire
Hills
this body.
Community Church to
And
do
in
our
fact, Lord, we
invocation.
pray that you
Please
would
remain
inspire our
standing for the
county.
pledge.
Let us pray. Dear Jesus, we recognize this morning that we've given an awesome privilege to serve our fellow citizens
to the
as
flag
leaders
of the United States
and
of
as,
America, and to the
stewards
republic for which
of
we stand,
this great county
one
and its
nation,
resources.
under God,
Lord, we
indivisible,
would also
with liberty
confess
and
that we
justice
are
for all.
a dull and ordinary lot who have risen
Again, I'll welcome everyone for attending
above
this
our
morning.
means and have been,
I'd like to introduce
Lord,
Mr. Alan Lamberson.
we've been asked to take on
our new
tasks
county
that are above
administrator.
us. And so, Lord,
I'd like for
we would
everyone to
pray
make
that you
him
would
welcome.
sharpen us and that you would help us to be extraordinary in our reliance upon you and your
And
word.
we'll move right along
and your
into our
wisdom.
agenda.
Lord, we would
Citizens
pray
time.
that you
We
would
have one
inspire this body.
citizen signed
And in
up.
fact, Lord, we pray that you would inspire our county
Hello, gentlemen.
to greatness.
I got the newspaper.
In Christ's name we
Let's see,
pray.
This is
Amen.
Wednesday, August 12th. The first thing that I look at is this
I'll
picture.
pledge
of
Allegiance
this
to the
nice
flag
young gal
of the United States of America,
elementary.
and to the republic
Wonderful
for which we
she's in a
stand,
position of
one
authority.
nation, under
And then
God,
I did a double
indivisible,
take.
with liberty
She's
and
wearing
justice for all.
If there is an emergency at the school and she has to evacuate.
Again, I'll
our
welcome
children,
everyone for
this
attending
is a
this
safety
morning.
issue. Plus, if she falls
I'd
down
like
the
to
stairs and breaks
introduce
her neck,
Mr.
the
Alan
taxpayers of
Lamberson,
Wythe County
our
are
new county
obligated.
administrator.
So I called Mr. Perry, and I
I'd
would
like
hope
for everyone to
that you
make
guys
him
would call
welcome.
Mr. Perry, and he would. But this is a safety issue for our
And
children.
we'll move right along
and for
into our
county
agenda.
residents and taxpayers who would
Citizens time, we
ultimately
have
pay
one
So if
citizen
you'd like,
signed
I
up.
don't think you guys wear flip-flops.
Ms. Myers? No, we
Yeah.
don't, but I say it, but
Hello, gentlemen.
I'll remind you, Linda, we do
I got
have
the
a elected
newspaper.
school board.
Let's see, this is
And they
Wednesday,
take
August
care of
12th.
that. I mean, we
And the first thing
mentioned it,
that
but
I look
I'd
at is this
suggest you
picture
go
of this I nice, did call Mr. Perry about young gal,
to the
and
school
she's a new
board
teacher at Scott
and talk to
Elementary,
them.
which is
From a safety
absolutely wonderful.
standpoint,
It's in a position of authority and so
Thank you
on.
so much.
Uh-huh.
And then I did a double take.
Okay.
She's wearing
That's
flip-flops.
the only person that
If
signed
there
up
is an
for
emergency at
citizens
that
time.
school and
Anyone
she
else
has
would
to
like speak?
evacuate our children,
Give you all
this is a safety issue.
Hearing
Plus,
none,
if
I'll
she
close
falls down the
citizens'
stairs and
time.
breaks her neck, the taxpayers of Wythe
First
County
item on the agenda
are
is a public
obligated.
hearing.
So I called Mr. Perry,
Notice-
and I would hope
notice
that you
of
guys
public
would call
hearing
Mr.
in
Perry, and
compliance
he
with
would,
section
perhaps there's a dress code or whatever. I don't care if she wears a plastic bag, but this is a safety issue for our children and for county residents and taxpayers who would ultimately pay the price. So if you'd like to, I don't think you guys wear flip-flops in here.
No,
I
we
mean,
don't, but I say it, but number one, I'll remind you, Linda, we do have an elected school board,
Right,
and they take care of that. I mean,
I
we
know they
can
do,
mention it,
but-
but I'd suggest you go
I did call Mr. Perry about it.
to the school board and talk to them about.
From a safety
Rest of
standpoint,
it.
it's unfortunate. Thank you so much.
Title Service District for. Okay, that's the only person that signed up for citizens' time. Does anyone else would like to speak? The Board of Supervisors shall give you opportunity. Hear comments from citizens. Hear none, I'll close citizens' time. These two ordinances. First item on the agenda is a public hearing. I'll read the notice. Notice of public hearing in compliance with section 15.2-2400 of the Code of Virginia and amendment thereto. The Wythe County Board of Supervisors will conduct a public hearing to consider the following amendments for the current county ordinances. Amendment number one, amendment number 2 to ordinance 2009-3 entitled Service District of Hidden Valley Area of Wythe County, Virginia. 2, amendment number 1 to ordinance 2009-2 entitled Service District for Whitstone Drive and Vineland Lane area of Wythe County, Virginia. The Board of Supervisors shall hear comments from citizens concerning the proposed amendments to these two ordinances. The public hearing shall be held on Tuesday, August 25th, 2015, beginning at 9:05 a.m. in the boardroom of the Wythe County Office Building, 340 South 6th Street, Wytheville, Virginia. A copy of each proposed amendment is on file in the County Administration's office located at 640 South 6th Street, Wytheville, Virginia, for public review and online at www.withco.org. I will now open the floor for comments on the public hearing. Hearing no one that wishes to speak, I'll close the public hearing. Approve the amendment number 2 and amendment number 1 to ordinance 2009-3 and 2009-2.
I'll make that motion, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Stockton, second. We want to vote on them now.
Yes, sir.
For discussion.
Mr. Crockett will be,
Mr. Dalton, how many of these outstanding districts do we have after
lower the
these
tax
two?
rate for those special districts did last year, I believe. The tax for both of these, this year,
Thank
both of these special
more
transportation
discussion?
districts, they paid additional taxes.
Hearing none, I'll do a roll call vote. Dr. House?
Aye.
Aye.
The chair votes aye. Motion passes 6 with 1 absent. Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve the amendment number 2 and amendment number 1. Next item on the agenda is public to ordinance, notice the comprehensive plan 2009-3 and 2009-2.
I'll make that motion, Mr. Chairman.
Currently in the process of reviewing the proposed 2015 comprehensive discussion as recommended by the Wythe County Planning Commission.
Mr. Dalton, how
The
many
plan
of these
is designed to
outstanding districts do we have after these two are gone?
decision-making tool to help guide the growth and development of the county. The plan is general, long-range, and comprehensive. The plan is based upon the data gathered about land use. Here none, I'll do a roll call vote. Dr. House?
Aye.
And the economy. The plan takes into consideration passes 6 with 1 absent. Ability of reportable future needs and seeks to promote the health, safety, moral. Next item on the agenda is public hearing. Notice the comprehensive plan. The Wythe County Board of Supervisors is currently in the process of reviewing the proposed 2015 comprehensive plan as recommended by the Wythe County Planning Commission. The plan is designed to be a decision-making tool to help guide the growth and development of the county. The plan is general, long-range, and comprehensive. The plan is based upon the data gathered about land use, population, housing, community service, transportation, and the economy. The plan takes into consideration presence and ability for review or reportable future needs and seeks to promote the health, safety, moral order, convenience of the Board of Supervisors, activity and general welfare of the people of Wythe County. In the effort to determine the views of local citizens and gain valuable information prior to the adopting of the Wythe County Planning Commission recommended plan, the Board of Supervisors will conduct a public hearing in compliance with Section 15.2-2204 of the Code of Virginia on Tuesday, August the 25th, 2015 at 9:10 a.m. in the boardroom of the Wythe County Administration Building, 340 South 6th Street, Wytheville, Virginia. A copy of the proposed 2015 comprehensive plan is on file in the County Administration's office for review, or it can be viewed online at www.withco.org. Citizens with questions or concerns can contact any member of the Board of Supervisors at 276-223-8500.
Conducted 3
I think we have
in the
Ms.
county.
Castle here to do a presentation
April
on the
and May
comprehensive
of
plan.
this year. The commission staff conducted 9 presentations to civic organizations. Good morning, gentlemen,
Good morning.
staff, and the planning commission. I'm just going to briefly go over those. And then the planning commission conducted their public hearing in April of this timeframe of, and, you know, what we did, made the recommendation where we are to the board. You know, they started, the planning commission started there's a portion of back in February 2014. And that was with the assistance of Mount Rogers. Mount Rogers is continuing to work on that. And after doing an online survey, they're preparing in all 3 high schools plan for the exits with just the seniors. Include verbiage in the high schools. In the transportation we updated regarding Mount Rogers and staff. We updated all the data. So and we conducted 3 input meetings in the county. However, we haven't. And then in April and May of this year, the commission staff conducted 9 presentations to civic organizations, and of course, staff and the planning commission did that. Of course, you guys are all aware of those. And then the planning commission conducted their public hearing in April of this year. And in May, we made the recommendation to the board for adoption. There's a portion of the plan that's not complete in the transportation chapter, and Mount Rogers is continuing to work on that. They're preparing the development plan for the exits, and it will include verbiage in the transportation chapter regarding the corridors of statewide significant concept. So they're continuing to work on that. We've asked for a timeline for that. However, we haven't received that yet. That's where we are.
Okay. Any questions for Michelle?
Have a draft of Mr. Bear, a very important part provided on your desk, the transportation corridors of statewide significance.
And this changes occurred because of House Bill 2 was
House
passed.
Bill 2, the planning commission has been caught in an unpredictable situation. State of Virginia decided.
You know, if Mount Rogers folks are aware of the context of the meeting we attended in Richmond 2 weeks ago, do they know about the modification of House Bill 2 and funding?
U.S. highways for the 6-year plan this past year. This is the initial draft. I suggest everybody read it. Well aware we're still awaiting Mount Rogers' completion of the very important part.
Mr. Barney, if we table this, we can have a work session and review these added things. Do we have, are they enough that we have to have another public hearing?
Until both of these can be inserted later.
Mr. Chairman, do you know if Mount Rogers folks are aware of the
Improvement of the
context of the meeting we attended in Richmond 2 weeks ago? Do they know about the modification of House Bill 2 and funding?
Yeah, may I, do we still continue with the public hearing, or do
They
we?
had a meeting this past week with Mr. Bear.
Okay.
So they're well aware of the requirements of House Bill 2.
Okay.
You want to ask for, we can still have comments now. Mr. Barney, if we table this, then we can have a work session and review these added things. Will we have, are they enough that we have to have another public hearing?
We just have to look to see if that's a substantial change or not. What I saw this morning, I'm not sure it would be a substantial change. I just need to review it a little closer to see whether the change, whether they have to re-advertise or not. Discussion.
Okay, we'll table the improvement of the comprehensive plan until we can have a work session and review. Thank you, Michelle.
Thanks.
Yeah, may I, do we still continue with public hearing, or do we?
We need to close the vote.
Yeah.
Okay.
Study for exit 41.
So,
81.
you want to ask for, we can still have comments now, and then we can,
Additional points.
then if we have to have another public hearing, we can
Right.
have another public hearing. And then if we don't, we still have the public hearing on file.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
there's actually 2 ways. You could adopt the comp plan
Yeah.
as presented.
So that gives us time, if we have to have another public hearing, we can have it
discussion.
on the
But there is a
September 22nd.
timeline
And that will still give us enough time to get it in.
It has, before we submit our application, September 30th. It's got to be adopted, so these references can be put in your application for this week and next week. A study for exit 41, the exit 81.
I guess my question is if we have any public comments today at the regular advertised public meeting, and then if the changes are not significant enough to require another public hearing, I mean, what I'm asking, do we continue with the public hearing today?
On the day meeting of September.
So and that gives us time, if we have to have another public hearing, we can have it on the September 22nd. And that'll still give us enough time to get it in. How long will it take you to?
Have the next public hearing, you have to have it advertised twice
Okay.
for the conference. 7
Well,
days prior.
then I'll open the floor up for any comments on
This
the
week and next week.
2015 comprehensive plan.
Well, I guess my question is if we have any public comments today at the regular advertised public meeting,
One of the
and then
things
if
we heard in
the
Richmond,
changes are not significant
if we
enough
went
to
with this
require
draft,
another public hearing, I mean,
I think
what I'm
it'd
asking, do we
be-
continue with the public hearing today?
It'd be DOA
You
to
may-
ask for 11 things in this new funding. I think the board, either in session or not, needs to pick which ones are the most viable and ask that they be on the list.
If it does require another public hearing. How long will it take you to?
In the day-to-day, you can ask for
Okay.
11.
Well, then I'll open the floor up for any comments on the 2015 comprehensive plan.
Every year, you can ask for
Well, just this draft.
these 11.
One of the things we heard in Richmond, if we went with this draft, I think it would be, to use the Annie B, it'd be DOA, to ask for 11 things in this new funding. I think the board, either in session or not, needs to pick which ones are the most viable and ask that they be on this document. Do we highlight
Mr. Hale,
the 3 most critical ones?
This is the document that would go in the comprehensive plan. All right, and so our application, though, is an entirely different, a different thing.
over the next 5 years,
I
unless
guess
you
I'm
amend
asking
the
a
comp
question.
plan.
We know those 3 most critical ones now, should they be highlighted in the comprehensive plan?
These 11.
Looks like to me this is a wish list of 11 things over the next 5 years.
You can add, make application for any, with House Bill 2, complex test, it's not anything I'm saying where flowers, levy flats, and this is the rest. At some point, we do your application, we can apply it as a resolution.
Okay.
An application, if you will, next,
So-
the next 2 meetings.
Maybe I'm overlooking it. Where in this document, do we highlight
This time of
the
juncture,
3 most critical ones?
This is the document that would go in the comprehensive plan.
Yeah.
All right, and so our application, though, is an entirely different,
And then next
a
year,
different thing.
take off this and apply for something else.
I guess I'm asking a question. If we know those 3 most critical ones now, should they be highlighted in the comprehensive plan?
this happens, we're trying to.
Looks like to me this is a wish list of 11 things over the next 5 years.
What we learned with House Bill 2, the comp plan has to include.
Well, realistically, as long as we offer it and study, we don't have to spend any money.
When you do your application and the board passes a resolution.
Well, I know that in the comprehensive plan, the top 3 are prioritized. Are the rest of them prioritized?
Which 3.
Okay.
At this critical, at this time of juncture, is the 3 most critical. That
Okay,
resolution.
again, I'll open the floor up for
Okay.
comments.
Didn't
Another one is
understand
signed
that.
up to speak on the. And then next year, we can take off this and apply for something else, or any comments, just.
Our meetings with House Bill 2, as you know.
And Mr. Dawson,
every time we
I
go, something
I
different
can leave
happens.
this public hearing open until the next meeting.
React to what the state of Virginia is telling us we've got to do to make these applications. This draft may not be the final form, but.
I'll make a motion.
Well, realistically, as long as we alter it and study, we don't have to come up with any money.
I have a motion and a second to continue the public hearing until the September
Well,
11th.
I know that
meeting.
in the comprehensive plan, the top 3 are prioritized. Are the rest of them prioritized?
Transportation
Okay.
portion of the comprehensive plan because of the passing of House Bill 2. Okay, again, I'll open the floor up for any comments. I know no one has signed up to speak on either one of the public hearings, but I will open the floor up for any comments. Motion passes 6 with 1 absent. And Mr. Dalton, I can leave this public hearing open until the next meeting. We have the minutes of the previous meeting, August 11th, 2015. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion that we approve the minutes as presented. I'll make a motion to continue it.
I have a second.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second to continue the public hearing until the September the 11th board meeting. Roll call vote, Dr. Hausman.
Aye.
Look at the changes for the transportation portion of the comprehensive plan. Next item on the agenda, because of the passing of House Bill 2. I open the floor for any discussion on the motion. Make the motion to pay the bills. Have a second. Hearing none, I'll do a roll call vote. Mr. Horny? Aye.
Aye.
Have a
Aye.
motion, and a second. Chair votes aye. Motion passes 6 with 1 absent. Board member would like to discuss? Okay, we'll move right along into our agenda.
Aye.
We have the minutes of the previous meeting, August 11th, 2015. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion that we
Unfinished
approve the
business.
minutes as presented.
I have a second. Any unfinished business?
Second.
Any discussion, corrections, or changes that need to be made to the minutes? Okay, we have anything under other? None, I'll do a roll call vote. Dr. Hausman?
Aye.
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 The chair votes aye. On to reports. Next item on the agenda, payment of invoices. I entertain a motion to pay the invoices.
I make a motion we pay the bills.
Have a second.
On our consolidated
I have a
account
motion and a
report,
second to pay the invoices. Any invoice any board member would like to discuss.
$49. And our general fund is at
Hearing none, I'll do a roll
$27,000,000.
call vote. Dr. Hausman?
Aye.
Aye.
As far as
Aye.
the revenue
Chair
statement
votes
goes,
aye.
we don't
Motion
really have
passes.
anything to talk about right now. Faye and I discussed
Unfinished
yesterday
business.
our
Mr. Dalton?
tax tickets out. She's
Any
gonna
unfinished business?
get the information over next week. We gotta get David down to do some transferring and get stuff over to us. And,
Okay, we
we'll
have
be ready
anything
to
under other?
get our tax tickets out. We've already paid for the postage and all that stuff. But I do have
Okay,
a
moving
problem
along
we need
to
to go over.
reports. Have the treasurer, Sam Crockett. Morning, Sam.
Morning, gentlemen. That top sheet that's coming around is what we get when we get money from the state through our consolidated account report program. Certainly, we're at $49,476,000. So today I got $409. And our general fund is at $7,981,000. As far as revenue statement goes, we don't really have anything to talk about right now. Faye and I discussed yesterday our sheet, getting our tax tickets out, one of the two big ones we get each month. Should have been information over next week. We got to get David down to do some transferring and get stuff over to us. Under our state sales tax. And then we'll be ready to, we got hit with a $235,000 debt set-off and all that stuff. But I do have a problem we need to go over, probably aware of that happening. But first, I'd heard about it when I got this report. So I wrote Ready Virginia, and that top sheet that's coming around is what we get when we get money from the state through our Ready Virginia Access Program. And I didn't hear anything back from them, but I did get a call. The other day, I got this sheet. He explained it that he had tried to talk to Salel about it, and since he didn't get return phone calls, that he did a debt set-off against our county for that money. So I got that money out, and this was one of the two big ones we get each month. Should have been For the town of Wythe, town of schools, both of them are sitting here with. If you look at the first item, under our state sales tax, like $49,505. We got hit with a $235,000 debt set-off claim. Gave them their percentage based on what we received. I think y'all probably aware of that happening. And I talked to the TAV treasurer. First I'd heard about it, I got this he said, all you do really is give them. So I wrote Ready Virginia and I asked him to explain why, which was they withheld our $146,000. So, and I didn't hear anything back from him, but I did get a call from Mr. Stevenson from the tobacco. And that made him short $30,000. He explained it that he had tried to talk to Salell about it, and since he didn't return phone calls, that he did a debt set off against our county for that money. So they took that money out, and $3, put me in a quandary as to what to do for the town of Wythe and town of Retreat. Both of them are sitting here with us today. He said, well, town of Wythe should have got like $49,505. The board decided we gave them their percentage based on what we received. Their part of that tax. And I talked to the TAV treasurer, attorney about it, and he said, all you can do really is give them their percentage based on what I received, which was $146,000. So, look into that for me now. For the town of Wythe, I gave them $18,979, and that made them short $30,526. This is all of what they should have gotten. And same for Roy Retreat. But my question, I guess, she should have gotten $10,442, and we sent her $4,003, which made her $6,439 short.
Well, we're in
Talking with
process
Kevin, I mean, he said, well, you did what you needed to do, you sent what was received, so it's up to the board to decide if they want to pay the towns their part of that tax that they should have received anyway. They would have received it had we not had that debt set off. The other thing Kevin commented about, he didn't know what authority the Tobacco Commission had to do a debt set off claim. He's trying to look into that for me now and see about that. But, you know, I wasn't aware of anything going on with Evan Tran. This is all refers to that Evan Tran Corporation. I heard about it. But my question, I guess, is why the taxpayer's on the hook for $235,000 for a failed company. I mean, did the county secure that loan for them? I thought it was a grant.
Well, we're in process of collecting money from Tran, and I'll let Mr. Dalton explain further all the technical.
Well, Sam, we discussed at our last board meeting.
David, you want to come on up?
We do have a performance agreement, personal guarantees.
Mr. Stevenson, Tobacco Commissioner, and I talked. The money is held right now. It hasn't been taken from the receipts. It's been held in escrow until the 30 days is up. At which point, if we've satisfied the debt, they don't take any money from anybody. The escrow goes back, and it will be flowed back to the county. But if the money is not collected
and I heard
in
about
30
it.
days, they'll hold that $235.
But when they sent us a letter, they did.
The county will just then have to be made whole from
The
Tran.
letter actually said that we had 30 days from the date of the letter to
Anybody have any questions, David?
that they
What do-
immediately went out.
What about the towns? We need to go ahead and give them their money and then get it back later. And if it's going to be done like that, you know, each of the towns
David, you want to come on up?
share the money.
Way I understand the JICA.
Mr. Stevenson, Tobacco Commissioner, and I talked. The money is held right now. It hasn't been taken from the receipts. It's been held in escrow until the 30 days is up. At which point, if we've satisfied the debt, they don't take any money from anybody. The escrow goes back, and it will be flowed back to the county. But if the money is not collected at the end of the 30 days, they'll hold that $235, and the county will just then have to be made whole from Tran.
This mess clears up.
Anybody have any questions?
Straightforward answers.
Okay, well, that's what I was looking for, an answer to what we're going to do about it. What about the towns? I didn't know whether to, we need to go ahead and give them their money and then get it back
Not the
later.
board, but
If
what
it's
I
going to
think.
be done like that.
But we
the,
don't perceive losing that money.
Each of the towns expecting their
I
share of the money.
mean, there's a personal guarantee, and,
Well,
I
I
mean, we'll get the
understand
money back.
the
It may
JIDA,
take the 30 days or whatever,
county
but
and
the money will
towns are
come
part.
in.
But the county didn't know that the
And they
Tobacco
are.
Commission was gonna do this.
This arm's length transaction.
It was a shock.
We hadn't even received a letter from them saying
The
they were
barter,
gonna do this
right,
before we,
Mr. Dalton,
then we
county
found
and
out
all
they were
of
doing it.
Them, they don't even need a man. Part of being a party in business is they take care of loans just like the county does.
But I
They get their
mean,
money back, they'll get it when
we
this
should
mess
have
clears
this,
up.
something settled within the next 30
That, to me,
days.
is
so
just a straightforward answer.
Okay, well, that's what I was looking for, an answer to what we're gonna do about
Well,
it. I didn't know whether to write it, I mean, if that's the board's decision.
Well, it's not the board's, but it's what I
Got
think.
to go through the process to get our money.
But we don't perceive losing that money.
No.
I mean, there's a personal guarantee, and, I mean, we'll get the money back. It may take the 30 days or whatever, but the money will come in.
But the county didn't know the tobacco
All right, thank
commission
you,
was
Joe.
gonna do this.
May I ask any
We hadn't even
questions?
received a letter.
It was a shock.
We hadn't even received a letter from them saying they was gonna do this before then we found out they were doing it.
Them, they don't even need a mask.
Do what?
Sure.
They don't even need a mask. Right. Speak up.
But I
Obviously, there's some
mean,
Come on up here, man.
we should have this, something settled within the next
Not
30
gonna pick
days,
up any more
so
trash.
I think we can wait, as far as the towns go. I mean,
Our
they're
last
partners
vehicle
with
that
us
we
in
had,
this economic development and the
we
Tran
towed it more
thing.
than we drove it.
And we're just got to go through the process to get
We
our
need
money.
another vehicle. The state has, there's a state contract with used vehicles from a place in Richmond that usually has a lot of
They just want to see what,
passenger
about their
vans.
sales tax.
And they come, you just
All right,
tell them
thank
what
you, Jim.
mileage you want on it. and that's
Thank
what
May I
the
ask any questions?
price will be
Else
based
got
on the
any
mileage.
questions? Thank you, Sam.
Thank you.
8-passenger van with about 25,000 miles on it.
Hey, I know your name wasn't on. You have anything you'd like to bring forward?
And we really,
Okay.
past
Sure.
all are good trash picking up.
Hey, speak up about the vehicle you're threatening me with. Come on up here, man.
A good program for the community. We picked up,
Not gonna pick up any more trash till we
And,
get in the vehicle.
things
Let's
were
deal
looking
with
good. We
that.
haven't been able to do that. Well, our last vehicle that we had, besides we, get us another vehicle. We towed it more than we drove it. The guy that we hired. So we needed another vehicle. We had made, the state has, there's a state contract with used vehicles from a place in Richmond. Took that job that, thinking that that usually has a lot of 8 to 10 passenger vans more than he did. And they come, you just tell them what mileage you want on it, that's what they'll send you. And the price will be based on the mileage. Hire some new people. 8-passenger van with about 25,000 miles on it was going about $19,000 last I looked. And we've really passed all our good trash picking up, whether, it won't be long before we don't have that opportunity. So that's a good program for the community. We picked up tons of trash and things were looking good and we haven't been able to do that. That's what we need to do. We need to start with the young kids. Besides to get us another vehicle and let us resume that program. The guy that we hired to do that program, and we had made arrangements to start doing it 3 days a week. Really have an effect on the senior. He took that job thinking that that was gonna be his job, but he ended up working in the court more than he did picking up trash, so he's actually resigned and moved on. So we're gonna have to hire some new people if we're gonna get the program kicked back.
I have a second.
The sheriff also informed me that he's doing a trash awareness or some education as part of the DARE program.
Would we
I wanna applaud
refer
him
that
on Making that happen.
to building and grounds or to budget?
Hopefully it's successful and we'll continue.
When you say quickly
Try to
investigate,
educate
what
the
are
young
you
about-
talking about there?
That's what we need to do. We need to start with the young kids as they grow up and we continue to pick up trash.
Well,
They continue
I
to
understand
learn
that, but
not
I
to
guess what
throw
I'm
trash.
asking is what, are you
We
talking
really,
about, committee action? You talking about full
really have
board
an
action or
effect on,
committee action and
the
then
scenery of our campus.
board action? That's what I'm,
I think Gary was the facts. I think it's time for
You
full
wanna make
board
it into
action.
a
That's
motion?
part of being quick. I sure do that we move forward rapidly. I mean, another month, maybe two, investigate and purchase a van and get that program up and running again. Danny used to always tell me, find the money, we'll do it. The sale here of these scrap vehicles or junk vehicles will almost buy a van.
would we refer that to
Every time I
building
find
and grounds
money,
or to
you tell me
budget
you
or,
can't use it. Why can't
yeah, when you say quickly investigate, what are you talking about there, Joe?
Move forward quickly with getting the van. We've been talking about this for 6 months.
I understand that, but I guess what I'm asking is what, are you talking about, committee action? Are you talking about full board action or committee action and then board action? That's what I'm.
I think Gary would know the facts. I think it's time for full board action. That's part of being quick and nimble. Committee would mean another month, maybe two. We got some money here.
For discussion.
We still have always tell me find the money, we'll do it. Like fire trucks has been there for a year. Sale here of these scrap vehicles or junk vehicles will almost buy a van. Every time I find money, you tell me we can't use it. Why can't we use this?
Well, we have a motion on the floor to go ahead and purchase a van. Trash pickup. We have a second. For a vote.
You learned all that from Doug King, didn't you?
We'll have to do it in a minute. Fresh. We don't know the amount.
We actually use that money to replace,
Which is still in line with your motion. We're moving forward.
You're forward for discussion.
Okay.
We still have all that
I'm just
other junk in the
confused
yard
as
down there
exactly
like
what we're
fire
voting
trucks
on.
has been there for a year and a half, or are they gone somewhere? So we can start the trash program again.
Okay, all right, I didn't think that was the motion. I thought the motion was to, move ahead. So moving ahead means buying a vehicle.
The
And
only
so,
thing that's going to the personnel committee.
The budget
Budget committee is the price. We have a motion on the floor to the board to go ahead and purchase a van, two trash pickup. And we have a second, and I will bring it to the floor for a vote. Okay, is everybody straight on what we're doing?
We'll have to do an amendment and appropriate. Fresh. We don't know the amount at this point, right? So
Well, that can come to the budget committee.
we'll go through the budget committee,
Yeah.
which is still in line with your motion, Mr. Hay.
Okay, thank you.
We're moving forward.
Okay.
okay, all
Go
right.
ahead,
I'm just confused as exactly what we're voting on.
My point, like we was kind of saying, here's a blank check, go buy a van.
Yeah, that was why I was asking about going to a committee. Okay, all right, I didn't think that was the motion. I thought the motion was to, move ahead. So moving ahead means buying the vehicle.
The
And
only
so,
thing that's going to the personnel committee is,
The budget
budget committee is the price
I
of it,
understand that
and is
better.
to bring to the board to amend and appropriate the money to purchase it.
We'll have to
Yes.
get a quote and amend it.
Okay, is everybody straight on what we're doing? Okay. Hearing none, Dr. Howell.
and this is up to $20,000.
Yes.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we got that set.
If you just gotta bounce it around, bring it back.
Okay, moving on to the agenda, Fire and Rescue Committee report. Okay.
Well, that was.
I agree.
That was my point. I
Like
met on
we was
August
kind of
17th,
saying, here's a blank
2015,
check,
and
go
made
buy a
the
van.
following.
Yeah,
that was why I was asking about And I going know
to
that we
committee.
take
Will
them
you amend your?
one at a
motion
time, but I'm
move
going
forward and amend
to
and
read them
appropriate
both, and then we'll go back, because I'll explain briefly. One is to amend and appropriate $32,303 to pay off the rural development loan for the Ivanhoe Fire Department Engine 4.
Okay, any more
And that's to be
discussion?
paid from Fund Code 096 Fire Department Equipment. And also to amend and appropriate $62,997 to pay off the rural development loan for the Barron Springs Fire Department tanker number 6,
Hearing none, Dr.
and that's to be paid from
And this
Fund
is
Code
up to $20,000.
096, the fire department equipment. The reason I read them both is that we now have possession of those. All the titles have been put in the name of the county, and our
Okay,
agreement
moving on
was
to
that we
agenda,
would
Fire and
take over
Rescue
the
Committee report.
over the payments. But Fire and Rescue Committee met on August 17th, 2015, and made the following recommendations. And I know that we take them that has enough money one at a time, but I'm going to read them both, and then we'll go back, because I'll explain briefly. One is to amend and appropriate $32,303 to pay off the rural development loan for the Ivanhoe Fire Department Engine 4. And that's to be paid from Fund Code 096 Fire Department Equipment. And also to amend and appropriate $62,997 to pay off the rural development loan for the Barron Springs Fire Department tanker number 6, and that's to be paid from Fund Code 096, the fire department equipment. The reason I read them both is that We now have possession of those. All the titles have been put in the name of the county, and our agreement was that we would take over the payments. But rather than make the payments, there was this fire department equipment fund that has enough money just to pay off those two pieces of equipment, which will save us thousands of dollars in interest. So we can do it without affecting the general fund. We can get them paid for and save us thousands of dollars on down the road. So I would bring back item number 1 to amend and appropriate to $32,803 to pay off the rural development loan for the Ivanhoe Fire Department.
Okay.
Would like to purchase. And we also reviewed a request for an ambulance from Wythe Rescue Squad.
Hear none, I'll do a roll call vote. Mr. Horny?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion passes.
And the second one is to amend and appropriate $62,997 to pay off the rural development loan for the Barron Springs Fire Department, tanker number 6.
Okay, it does come from committee, it does need a second. For discussion.
First drill and 2 fire departments.
Hear none, do a roll call vote.
Led by working.
Aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye.
And there were two pieces of just information. There's no action required. One, we're waiting the final cost of the crash truck and equipment from Blacksburg that Speedwell Fire Department would like to purchase. And we also reviewed a request for an ambulance from Wythe Mines Rescue Squad.
While we're on fire and rescue, there's 2 things.
The Water Committee met on August 18th, 2015, and made the following recommendation. To remove $286,855.06 from the Water Department funds and consider the account 1008799-00 closed.
Lead Mines are working as a team to develop this since they have the Zodiac and
Flying J bankruptcy account.
But it is.
If I remember correctly, that account was actually paid off. It was actually transferred over to another account.
Fire and rescue.
And we just forgot to zero it out.
Any other comment? Okay, recommendation from the Water Committee doesn't need a second. I'd like to bring up fire and rescue explanation. Here none, we'll move right along with the Water Committee report.
Okay, the Water Committee met on August 18th, 2015, and made the following recommendation. To remove $286,855.06 from the Water Department books and consider the account
budget
1008799-00
We've got 6 items here for recommendation. The first is to accept the Virginia Department of Emergency Management.
It was a Flying J bankruptcy account, and
performance grant.
if I remember correctly, that account is actually paid off. It was actually transferred over to another account.
Matching funds. That is in the
And we
budget.
just forgot to
Zero
it out.
Doesn't need a second. Before for discussion. Okay, you hear the recommendation from the Water Committee, it doesn't need a second. Roll call vote. You heard the explanation. Any questions? And chair votes aye.
Second item is to accept the Virginia Department of Criminal Justice Service Victim Witness Program Grant in the amount of $46,000.
Anything else from the Water Committee?
I believe that was it.
County Administrator report. It doesn't need a second. Any discussion? Oh, budget, I'm sorry.
Budget Committee met on August 21st. We've got 6 items here for recommendation. The first is to accept the Virginia Department of Emergency Management. Next item, 2015 Emergency Management Performance Grant. It's in the amount of $13,017 to $13,017 in local matching funds. That is in the budget.
Okay, come from it, doesn't need a second. Come from it, doesn't need a second. Discussion. Hearing none, do a roll call vote. Mr. Horny?
Aye.
Aye.
And chair votes aye.
Second item is to accept the Virginia Department of Criminal Justice Service Victim Witness Program Grant in the amount of $46,418.
Roll call vote, Dr. Hausman.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, come from committee, it doesn't need a second. Any discussion?
Next item is to accept the Radio Drive Tank Improvements Division 2 change
roll call
order
vote.
number
Mr.
1 in
Horny.
the amount of $750.
Aye.
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 Question, the chair votes aye. Any comments come from committee?
Next
doesn't
item
need a
is,
second.
we have, next two items involve the Radio
Can you
Drive
get that
tank
on that,
improvements. The
please?
first is to accept the Radio Drive Tank Improvements Division
What do we
1
get?
change order number 1 in the amount of $1,900.
Okay, come from
So
committee,
it
it
will
doesn't
help
need a second.
flush
Any
that line.
discussion?
Charge that
Mr.
line.
Chairman, our apologies to the water committee.
Okay.
Recently, the water committee met, this absolutely finalized this department with this brand.
But it'll increase the water quality.
Any other questions? Hearing none, do a roll call vote. Dr. Haslund?
Aye.
Doesn't need a second.
Aye.
Any more questions? Chair votes aye.
Next item is to accept the Radio Drive Tank Improvements Division 2
Aye.
change order number 1 in the amount of $750. Next item is to provide county employees who have in excess of 30 years of service an opportunity to retire early and work the necessary
Is that
calculated
that
hours to
automatic
pay for their
bleed?
health insurance. I
Is
think
that
we do have a
second
couple
one?
people interested.
What do we get
Several
for
that are
$700?
eligible.
Okay, come from committee, it doesn't need a second item for discussion.
So it will help flush that line, charge that line?
That's change order 1, yes.
Okay.
The overall project, this particular change order is to get the telemetry from the throw switch back to the sewer plant that we know when the generator runs.
But it'll increase water quality.
Yes, full project.
That's it.
Okay, come from committee, it doesn't need a second. Any more questions?
Ago, when we did this, we had an idea
Do a
how
roll
many
call vote.
people
Dr. Haslund?
Aye.
were involved. You got an idea?
Chair votes
So,
aye.
we're not talking-
Next item is to provide county employees who have in excess of 30 years of service an opportunity to retire early
No,
and
I
work
just
the
want a
necessary
number.
calculated hours to pay for their health insurance. I think we do have a couple people interested and several that are eligible.
Okay, come from committee, it doesn't need a second item for discussion.
Mr. Chairman, we have on your desk, a draft of agreement that those individuals will sign. That appears to see really more step back to the same agreement.
And them don't, is the only two people that's talking about it.
Basically, this is
Question.
really zero
Years
cost to
ago,
us,
when we did this, we had an
because
idea
they
how
come
many
back
people
and work those days.
were
So
involved. You got an
it's,
idea.
you know, it's, value that we
So we're
have
not
for,
talking
for that
about
money, so it's a,
Those of them are sheriff's department, we won't be naming names, again.
No, I just wanted a number.
We had an initial list of about 6 people that can only fix them for a couple of months. Potentially retired. What we've done is limit
because it
the 30
cuts off at age 65,
service.
Medicare.
One employee in the treasurer's office, I've talked to her numerous times.
Any more
She's not
discussion?
interested.
Hearing none, I'll do a roll call vote. Mr. Horny?
Aye.
Aye.
The chair votes aye.
Then the last item from the Budget Committee is to approve
And
the
them don't,
proposed
is
with
the only
county
two people that's
salaries
talking to me.
effective September 1st,
It-
2015.
And basically, this is really zero cost to us,
On the website.
because they come back and work those days. So it's, it's, value that we have for, for that money, so it's a,
Dr. Haslund?
aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye.
That's all from the Budget
All
Committee.
from the budget. Now I can go to the county
One
administrator.
employee can only fix them for a couple of months.
Mr. Dalton.
Because it cuts off at age 65, Medicare.
Any more discussion? Hearing none, I'll do a roll call vote. Mr. Horny?
Aye.
Aye.
The chair votes aye.
Then the last item from the Budget Committee is to approve the proposed with county salaries effective September 1st, 2015. Those are in your packet, and upon approval can be posted on the website.
Any questions come from committee? It doesn't need a second. Hearing none, I'll do a roll call vote. Dr. Haslund?
Aye.
Aye.
And they,
The chair
also,
votes
are
aye.
they asking us,
That's all from
I mean, I had to see this one sentence, also right to govern as an individual and as a political group. So they're asking for a letter. I would recommend that, or make a motion that we do write a letter asking the governor to keep the Southwest Virginia Training Center open. If it closes, in all honesty, it's going to put, well, I'll make that motion, and then,
I'll second it.
if discussion is, appropriate now, if it's closed, it's going to put a tremendous burden on, on families and on individuals. And they
cost a lot of jobs.
also are they will cost a lot of jobs. I mean, I see this one sentence, also right to govern as an individual serving political group. So they're asking for a population that, that needs services. So I would strongly suggest that we write the governor, ask him to. I would recommend that, or make a motion that we do write a letter asking the governor to keep the Southwest Virginia Training Center open. If it closes, in all honesty, it's going to put.
We need to save as many things as we can.
Well, I'll make that motion,
This part
and
of
then no, I take it back. He works
I'll
at
second
IDC. If discussion is appropriate now, if it's closed, it's going to put a tremendous burden on on families and on individuals.
It's going to cost a lot of jobs.
It will cost a lot of jobs, and this is serving segment of the population that that needs services. So I would strongly suggest that we write the governor and ask him to to keep it open.
Part of that, it's 100 to state jobs and material, because we've got 20 people that counties that drive.
Yep. My neighbor.
We need to save as many things as we can in this part of the state.
No, I take it back. He works at IDC.
Any more discussion? Hearing none, we have a motion and a second to write to the governor supporting not closing the training center. I'll do a roll call vote. Dr. Housen?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Chair votes aye. Next item.
Next item is the school board meeting dates, which y'all can expect to be on your 6/16. Next meeting of the school board is Thursday, September the 10th at 7 o'clock. All those meetings this year are going to be held at the school board office.
Mr. Tom, hold on one second. Do you have
Well, I was just going to ask why would this go on a 6-year plan instead of from maintenance funds?
Bridge over Cripple Creek on Silent Road. Bridge funds from the governor's office. It appears that we can report.
So they want it to come out of county.
On Silent.
Basically, money is going to be allocated to the county rather than, well, that's very nice of them. Yeah.
There is a preliminary design phase. Go back to House Bill 2, which y'all can expect to be on your 6-year plan. House Bill 2 is going to morph into a places bridge or change in the next item is community college. They're going to take roads off your table more.
Mr. Tom, hold on one second. Do you have
Well, I was just going to ask why would this go on a 6-year plan instead of from maintenance funds?
The cost of it this year exceeds anything. A new bridge is going to, the next route being made will be bridges on March.
So they want it to come out of county. Basically, money is going to be allocated to the county rather than,
not be built back?
well, that's very nice of them. Yeah.
There is, let's go back to House Bill 2. We were informed, I guess, in Richmond, House Bill 2 was going to morph into or change in the next.
But they're trying to turn it back on us.
They're going to take roads off the table.
Well, the state is good at that,
Bridges.
Okay, that was my question, Mr. Chairman.
that in your district?
Yes.
Is after that flood, is it truly unrepairable?
There's nothing left of the bridge, Joe.
Well, you can't repair it then.
I mean, there's a couple of the pillars were out in the middle of the creek, but that was.
Well, that's
Because
the
this was a
reason
low
for that
water bridge,
question.
and it can
Yeah.
not
You
be
could
built back as
validate
a
that-
low water bridge.
That it was a repair and get Mr. Russell to agree with it, that could change how it could be funded.
Right.
But the problem with that, Joe, is different here, David, I would have thought they would have went after some kind of deed on that.
I was gonna say, they went back and took it all out
They
now.
backed up over.
But they're trying to turn it back on us. Okay.
You know, as far as a flood.
The state is good at that,
Any way we could get any money from FEMA to.
Okay, that was my question, Mr. Chairman.
Well, no, Gene, that in your district,
Yes.
it is after that flood, is it truly unrepairable?
There's nothing left of the bridge, Joe.
Well, you can't repair it then.
I mean, there's a couple of the pillars were out in the middle of the creek, but that was.
Well, that's the reason for that question, you know, if you could validate that it was a repair and get Mr. Russell to agree with it, that could change how it could be funded.
Right.
The problem with that, Joe, with the Davids do some, but after water went down, they dug the rest of it out.
I was gonna say, they went back and took it all out
They
now.
backed up over it then, huh? Get back sure.
Okay.
You know, as far as a flood caused damage, any way we could get any money from FEMA the
I would have thought that the state would access that and has to go isolate the flood in periods of time to respond to that. We can talk to, have not the district or the state about it. It's our intention to proceed with the bond currently. There's no direction and since you pass your resolution, they're going to penalize you.
make us pay for it. We got it.
One of the real negatives of this is that it delays the water line going to
That'll get a lot
Jacksonville.
of attention.
Next item would typically come through the water committee.
Did you-
Intent to terminate.
Did you finish the college
What
level?
brought this about,
Did you?
Bill? Were they just
Sorry.
too low to start with, or bad management, or?
We sent a notice of intent, that's a terminate clause, there's some legal, the new version has to go on now. They have a period of time to respond to the letter. As far as I know, they have not responded. It's our intention to proceed with the bond company and have the bond company finish this project.
And one of the real negatives of this is that it delays the water line going to Jackson School.
I haven't got any calls about that yet,
What brought this about, Bill? Were they just too low to start with, or bad management, or?
All the above. They got into trouble early with their materials. We started off with material problem with made known to us by first supplier, the ag as of now, May. We had a meeting in July. We got that, what we had squared away with the supplier and the contractor. The contractor paid up what the invoices that were outstanding, failed to come up with cash in hand requirement by the supplier to obtain the remainder of the materials. So you can't get materials in front of the job. And then there's other things going on that you're not aware of. You got a subcontractor that, for whatever reason, hasn't showed up, probably because he knew we get paid. Jobs at 54% and making no progress, and that was the clause in the contract that we invoked to send out the notice of intent. We also notified the bonding company, who I heard from yesterday. We can try to arrange a meeting with us and the county attorney tomorrow.
Is this 54% lineage or valvage, or?
Think of it as a continuing line around the sticks, so as of now, we're days.
Okay, that's what it was asking.
Or it may just be less than
What's the estimated time delay that this is going?
Well, their time is completely expired.
Last question. We're still in good shape on retaining and drawdown.
Get it
Quite way better than that
Speculation,
deal.
my speculation is the bonding company will come in and manage Branson construction, get them to finish the project.
Hey, Mr. Donald, does this affect the Castleton Road next line?
No.
If I may,
Is this 54% lineage or valvage or?
Think of it as a teacher point, the lines are made in sticks, and then we're gonna hook up the little circles.
Okay,
That's really what's left.
that's what I was asking.
Most of the pipe is in, 1, 4, and 452, and US 52. The rest of it has to do with PRV vaults, meter vaults, and such as that.
I would make that motion. Do I have a second?
Last question.
I'll second.
We're still in good shape on
Discussion,
retainage
questions.
and drawdown.
We have an okay.
Hearing none, I'll do a roll call
That's
vote.
quite way better than that. but-
Aye.
All right.
Chair votes aye. Okay, Mr. Donald. Next item.
If I may, under schedule, other, I have before you, request from Southwest Virginia Mercy Medical Service. Have dates that they're signed. Send a letter of support. Is it drafted? You're in on the full act. Make a motion to support.
I would make that motion. Do I have a second? There's no enemy. We're all.
I'll second it.
Open the floor for any discussion or questions. Y'all get involved. Okay, hearing none, I'll roll call. Does anybody have any questions, Dr. Houston?
Aye.
Next
All right.
3 days. Aye. The chair votes aye. Okay, hearing none, we'll move right on to supervisor report. District 1, Black Lake, Dr. Houston.
Only thing, I just will report that I had a call again from Jack Dutton, who lives on Dutton Hollow Road, about the condition of the road and the drainage and that sort of thing. It's washing out driveways because the drains are not open, and so I will, he's asked me to drive out that way, and I'll do that probably this afternoon. I'll send Mr. Russell an email, although I know that the county doesn't maintain roads or do anything like that. We can, I guess, use our title supervisor to at least send requests.
Okay, moving right along. Does anybody have any questions on the schedule?
So that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
3 days. Okay, District 2, Westwood.
I don't have anything this time.
Okay, hearing none, we'll move right on to supervisors report. District 1, Black Lake, Dr. Houston.
Only thing, I just will report that I had a call again from Jack Dutton, who lives on Dutton Hollow Road, about the condition of the roads and the drainage and that sort of thing. It's washing out driveways and because the drains are not open, and so I will, he's asked me to drive out that way, and I'll do that probably this afternoon. I'll send Mr. Russell an email, although I know that the county doesn't maintain roads or do anything like that. We can, I guess, use our title supervisor to at least send requests and see if they will respond to it. So that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Okay,
As
District
you're
2,
aware,
West
they
Whipple.
repaved
I
part
don't have
of
anything this time.
Olive Hill.
East Whipple is absent. District 4, Fort
Oak Hill
Chisholm,
Road.
Mr. Hale.
Now it has indicated work has started on Orchard Road. They turned down my request, amazing, happy, magnificent paving job on Ramsey Mountain. Mr. Dalton to, wasn't on anybody's schedule, see if he can contact, they can't afford to put either Andy or there's not enough traffic count. There's a safety issue. How they come up with. We don't have striping, and the sheriff will tell you this. These are sheriff safety issues. Striping, lack of striping on foggy mornings with that Danner Road is safety hazard for work time. They have the 18 feet of width required for striping, but there's none there. Back there, as you're aware, they repaved part of Olive Hill. We get a new vehicle, Locust Hill Road back. Now it has the width tonnage for striping. There's no stripe since the state mowed. They turned down my request after the magnificent paving job on Ramsey Mountain. It wasn't on anybody's schedule. they can't afford to put a stripe on it because there's not enough traffic count.
Okay,
Well, if they can't afford to paint, how'd they come up with 1,000 tons of paint mix to make it that wide? These are safety issues, they're not maintenance issues, but on foggy mornings with that new black pavement, or people go to work before work time,
I have one
That
thing I
stripe
didn't know
really
if it's something
helps.
the county does, or if it's something VDOT would do, or if it's something
hopefully
nobody
the
does.
sheriff would
There's
back
a
that.
church on,
That's it. And
I
trash
think the
pickup.
road name now.
We get a new vehicle, I hope to see.
It's Lake Springs Branch Road.
Back.
It's
because,
right on a little hump,
tonnage
and they've got driveways on both
value to
sides.
that, and since
Is there any,
the state
who would put up
motor right-of-ways, all the
a hidden
traffic
driveway
showing
or
up
watch
again.
for vehicle signs, or
Rightfully, we need to be
Okay.
picking it up.
you want to contact them about that, or you want me to? I would appreciate that.
Anything else?
Good.
Other than that, okay.
They
District
started,
five
they
deadlines.
paved some yesterday on
I did have some.
619 where they're gonna
Some
tear up
road
and
issues back
redo,
on
so they
all
put some
the
good
way.
pavement down yesterday on it, so they can tear it up to start over.
Okay. District six.
It's still rough as a cob, but
I have
it's
one
got new
thing.
thing, I didn't know if it's something the county does, or if it's something VDOT would do, or if it's something nobody does.
That's it.
There's a church
Lord,
on,
I have nothing to report at this
can't
time.
think of the road name now.
Moving on into new business, we have consent
It's Lake Springs
calendar
Branch Road.
for August 25th.
It's right on a little hump, and they've got driveways on both sides.
I
Is
move
there
we
any,
accept.
who would put up a hidden driveway or watch for vehicle signs,
I'll
or,
second it.
Have a
okay.
motion and a second.
You want to contact them about that, or you want me to?
Have any questions?
I would appreciate that.
Hearing
Other than
none,
that,
roll call vote.
They started, they paved some yesterday on the
Yep.
619 where they're gonna tear up and
And the church.
redo, so they put some good pavement down yesterday on
Okay,
it, so they can tear it up to start over.
Next item is the MRC ES performance contract.
It's still rough as a cob, but it's got new pavement on it.
Okay, is that all, Mr. Horny?
That's it.
Okay, at large, I have nothing to report at this time. Moving on into new business, we have the consent calendar for August 25th, 2015.
I move we accept the consent calendar.
I have a second.
I'll second it.
Have a motion and a second to approve the consent calendar. A motion to have any questions? Performance contract. Hearing none.
I'll make that
roll
motion.
call vote, Dr. Halpern.
Aye.
Motion and a second, any discussion?
I will say that if there's anything
And the
that's
chair
any
votes
more
aye.
convoluted and complicated than the county, it's Mount
Next
Rogers.
item is MRC.
I mean, not,
ES
certainly not through their
performance
fault,
contract.
but, through, federal guidelines and state guidelines and, so I just, would like to say bless their hearts.
All their services, they're going
I think it's kind of, I need to ask a question. Steve is on the Workforce Development Board now. And since he's not here, Lennon Count's come to my office hours yesterday afternoon. One of his graduation papers
Have a motion
with a
to
group of
accept
other
the performance
students at
contract.
was on this very.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
A motion and a second,
I'd
any
like to be
discussion?
able to get a sit
I will
down
say
with
that if there's anything that's any more
Perry and,
convoluted and
President
complicated than the
Collins.
county, it's Mount Rogers.
Yeah.
I mean, certainly not through their fault, but, through, federal guidelines and state guidelines and, so I just, would like to say bless their hearts.
Workforce Development Program. I think it's a time, I need to ask a question. Steve is on the Workforce Development Board now. And since he's not here, some new language that wasn't aware. Lennon Count's come to my, it's going on. And I think that all of his development is. One of his graduation papers with a group of other students at Madison was
Well,
on
now,
this very
speaking
subject of workforce
for Mount Rogers, and I get,
I'd
with
like
the
to be able to
IDC,
get a sit-down meeting
I can tell you, they're doing some
Dr.
really
Perry and,
innovative
President
things over there.
Collins. I
For
understand
instance, yesterday, we had a meeting, and the IDC is contracted
that will
to
allow a greater
make cooling
involvement
vests.
between
And
local
he had
educational
a sample there.
Community
They're
golf.
making it for a company for people who work.
Development program.
I'm assuming, he said like welders, but I would assume, people that work at extruding, machines and things like that, that they can hook to compressed air and it keeps them cool. So as far as workforce development, especially, with that, segment of the population, they're doing some amazing things, at the, speaking from Mount Rogers, and I know that's not exactly what we're talking about, but if we talk about workforce development, I tell you, they're doing some really innovative things over there. For instance, yesterday, we had a meeting, and the IDC is contracted to make cooling vests, and he had a sample there. They're making it for a company for people who work. I'm assuming, he said like welders, but I would assume, people that work at extruding, machines and things like that, that they can hook to compressed air and it keeps them cool. So as far as workforce development, especially, with that, segment of the population, they're doing some amazing things, at the IDC. I know that's not exactly what you were talking about, but if we talk about workforce development and putting people to work, that's a great program that Mount Rogers
Guidance
counselors, I think,
I'll talk more about what we've generally been not able to get our arms around, but that asks for the money back. Training at the local level, we put money in that 2-year program or even 1-year certificate program that will make people ready for different industries that we may have hope. And I think, David, you know a lot about this. It's the biggest thing that we've got missing in our piece of pie right now.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I'll again, make that motion to accept Mount Rogers.
Dalton may know the answer.
Have a motion second.
Did the school division come up with emergency service classes or not?
We've been through discussion.
Did not.
Roll call vote, Mr.
Aye.
There just was not enough interest. Guidance counselors, I think, tried.
From you,
Let's make sure while I was
surplus vehicles.
Did anybody ask for the money back?
$13,884.72.
We put money in that program, and if they didn't do it, we ought to get that money back.
I'll entertain a motion to accept it.
I'll make a motion to accept the bids.
And declare surplus property. Have a second.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I'll again, make that motion to accept Mount Rogers.
I have a question.
Yes. I have a motion and second.
6 vehicles?
Accept the
All those
Mount Rogers
sheriff's
performance
cars.
contract.
Were they?
We've been through discussion. Do a roll call vote, Mr. Horning.
Will y'all use a Ranger or an S10 for?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Next item on the agenda, you have in front of you they've auctioned off the surplus vehicles in the amount of $13,884.72. We need to accept these bids.
So does all this money go back into buying the sheriff's cars or just the sheriff's cars?
Motion to accept it.
That's what I thought, but I will make a motion we accept the bids.
And declare surplus property. Have a second.
Requesting the money.
Any more discussion?
I have a question.
Yes.
I mean, there's 6 vehicles. All those aren't sheriff's cars, were they?
Roll call vote, Dr. House.
Aye.
5. Y'all use a Ranger or an S10 for?
Next item on the agenda, you have a letter in your packet from Ivanhoe Civic League. Mr. Roberts, you want to, it's in your district.
So does all this money go back into buying the sheriff's cars or just the sheriff's cars? Okay. That's what I thought, but I wasn't sure.
Any more questions?
Requesting the money?
Any more questions or comments? Do a roll call vote. Dr. Housing?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. The chair votes aye. Next item on the agenda, you have a letter in your packet from the Ivanhoe Civic League. Mr. McRoberts, you want to, it's in your district.
I did receive a call from Miss Waller. I thought she was gonna be here to explain that today. I think financing there broke as well as a lot of them. Very asked things, I think she wanted to have a doctor.
I called her and told her that the budget committee referred.
Well, so we will refer this to the budget committee?
No, it
Or
come
no?
through the budget committee, which there
We only had
wasn't two
two.
of us present, so
Oh,
we
oh.
decided to just let the full board. hear
Oh, I see.
I would think this is in response to the donation made to the Rotary Fair Association. I felt like the whole board probably would, since the vote was.
Well, if that's it, I mean, then the thing that I would request is sort of the same information we received from the, from Rotary Fair Association. I know during our budget hearings, Mr. Brian Vault came down and talked about it and made a request, and then we had Mr. Jordan Hall, who came as the new president and spoke. Of course, they've reorganized and well, so we will refer this, or trying to make a go of it, and of course, they've given us some actual numbers as far as, their finances and what the needs, actually are, and really, what they're doing at the Fair Association,
Felt like the whole board probably would.
fits in, I think, a little bit, at least with
if that's it, I mean,
the mission of this expo
then the
center,
thing that I
except
would
on a
request
micro
is sort of the
level
same
where,
information we
it's,
received from the,
it's,
activities,
Rotary Fair Association. I know during
mainly
our
on
budget
on a weekend basis.
hearings,
and that sort of thing.
Mr. Brian Ball
That
came
being
down
said,
and,
if,
and talked about it and made a request,
if
and then
the Ivanhoe
we had,
Civic League,
Mr.
you know,
Jordan
fits in
Hall,
all
who
that,
came as the new president.
I don't have any,
and spoke. Of course, they've reorganized and are trying to make a go of it. And of course, they've given us some actual numbers as far as their finances and what the needs actually are, and really what they're doing at the Fair Association fits in, I think, a little bit, at least, with the philosophy or the mission of this expo center, except on a micro level where it's activities mainly on a weekend basis and that sort of thing. That being said, if the Ivanhoe Civic League fits into all that, I don't have any.
What we would normally call a business plan. Where are they not making money? What can we help them do?
Mr. Dalton, what did we request from
viable
with Fire
Because
Association?
there's a lot goes on
What
over there.
kind of
There's
documents
probably
did
more
we
goes
request
on in that
for?
park over there than anywhere else in the county.
Actually, what they wanted to spend the dollars.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why are they not supporting it? What are they
Boy,
paying?
I guess asking you the question, is there a formal working group called Ivanhoe Civic League? Okay, I mean, they have a board and members and things like that. And I could really support this, how this money's gonna help. If they've got sort of what we would normally call a business plan, where are they not making money? What can we help them do to become viable? Because there's a lot goes on over there. There's probably more goes on in that park over there than anywhere else in the county.
And also,
Yeah, but what goes on over there, mom's not heard, that's what you've heard for. What's the name? Marty is right. His fire department is very good money to the fire.
Okay.
Why are they not supporting, what are they paying her? I mean,
Fire department pays tuition at the light again. I will pay you guys. Basically,
well, I still think, in my opinion, we've taken on.
Well, does that make
case-by-case
sense to you
basis.
that if they want county help, they need some kind of structure of how this money is gonna help them?
All of these nonprofit organizations that request money each year from the budget.
And the other thing I would say about the Rotary Fair Association, in my motion, it was a one-time thing. It was not a reoccurring,
And also,
allotment. And if she could give us, I would request that she give us the numbers and things like that, same thing that, Roy Treat did at the fair.
And this probably won't be the
Okay.
end of this. We probably gonna have every organization
Mr.
that there
Dalton,
is in the
brought
county.
her letter
501c3.
requesting the same thing we requested from the
Well,
Fire
I still
Association. In my opinion, we've taken on a case-by-case basis. That's all we can do.
And-
Requests that receive at the first of the year from all of these nonprofit organizations that request money each year from the budget fiscal year 16.
And the other thing I would say about the Rotary Fair Association, in my motion, it was a one-time thing. It was not a reoccurring, allotment.
Ask that she be here the next meeting.
And if she could give us, I would request that she give us the numbers and things like that, same thing that, Roy Treat did
Roy Treat.
at the fair.
She can do it.
Okay.
Okay. So, Mr. Dalton, will you write her letter and requesting the same thing we requested from the Fire Association, and we'll put it on the next board package. Okay, next item is the fiscal year 16 revenue sharing program. Mr. Dalton. And
It's that time of year again, if there's any, there's 3 roads currently have more than 10, we can make recommendations and make application on a annual basis. 30-year revenue sharing plan. I know I've talked to a couple of you guys that very close to closing on the property of exit 77. It doesn't commit you to doing the project, but my suggestion to some of you guys was to make application for Ready Fix Road. Joe, you talked to you were going to get that included in.
Yeah, I pretty much concur Connor Valley is dead. They're not gonna come up with their part of the
It
money.
has to be done, we're in the 5-year road. Talk to the lady over there and have them appreciate the money.
And
As you know, and I'm gonna get to this in Bearwall, there's 3 roads we currently have.
And Bearwall, it really depends on the county attorney. I know it's in the deeds, but the legal side, does it mean what I think it means, or does it mean what the other people think it means? And that's gonna be the thing, if there's not a valid right-of-way there, let's drop the thing and move on. If there is a valid right-of-way there, then we need to kick a gear, do whatever, tell VDOT this project's still alive.
I understand. What, Joe, you told me, yes, talked to you, you were gonna do Thomas Lee.
Yeah, I pretty much concur Connor Valley is dead. They're not gonna come up with their part of the money.
And Bertha Farms Road, you talked to the lady over there that initiated right away. She said remove it, but somebody can come up with, so Bearwall is the only ward.
And Bearwall, it really depends on the county attorney. I know it's in the deeds, but the legal side, does it mean what I think it means, or does it mean what the other people think it means? It's been in the last 40 things. If there's not a valid right-of-way there, let's drop the thing and move on. If there is a valid right-of-way there, then we need to kick a gear, do whatever, tell VDOT this project's still alive.
Well, what VDOT told me
Is
yesterday
Bearwall,
is they need
I know it's on the eastern end of the county, but
They're
is
foreign country.
Yeah, it is, yeah. But I do have a passport. Is that where the people came in and there were some of them objected? Okay.
There were 68 property holders in that quandary. Well, I've understood that all along, and I agree with it, but it still comes back to Scott giving us opinion whether that's the right way or not. It's been in the last 4 deed transfers of that one piece of property. Public road system.
But a special tax district.
I'm not going to practice law, I'm just telling you, it's been in the deeds for a long time. What does that mean? If we can't trust the deed, we can't trust anything.
Is Bear Wall,
We had a meeting.
I know it's on the eastern end of the county, but
That's foreign country, isn't it?
yeah, it is, yeah. But I do have a passport. Is that where the people came in and there were some of them objected? Okay.
There's 68 property holders in that quandary. About 2 months ago, they can't get connected to a post road, so therefore the division, subdivision. In my opinion, their property value brought it into that word. They don't want it. They can't become part of the, unfortunately, there was nobody here. Public road system. The other 68
But a
property
special tax
holders,
district has to be
when
put
those
in
three
place
here
to
not wanting it.
get that road built.
As Myers Hayes one, you get involved on the other side. I'd
Do
be
we
in
have
favor
the
of it.
people, enough people signed on board to make that happen?
We had a meeting at the Roofing Building at Max Meadows. The questions back there, they were told a little bit of this, told this is what you gotta do. If there's not the right way, question, why do that? If we don't have a right of way, because if they don't have a right of way, no amount of money is worth fighting with those 3 landowners. You remember about 2 months ago, they showed up here opposed to it. Those are the 3 that, in my opinion, their property values would increase drastically, but they don't want it. Unfortunately, there was nobody here representing the other 68 property holders when those 3 were here not wanting it. So, as Myers Hayes one you can get involved on and pick either side, I'd be in favor of it. It's a quandary of how this ever happened. But the question's back to Scott. If there's a right of way there, I want to put you. If there's not a right of way there, we'll tell them the game's over and
County administrator to participate in that.
let the state turn the money
Share
over.
program
I would ask
to approve, the approval. Do you have an amount that we're going to request?
letter based off this department's letter, this would be the cost of it, you got to bring back. Department on one project, complete the
So do we need to take action on this?
back into the revenue share. Wasting their time. I would ask that some indication on the revenue sharing for next year, the application, if there is an application.
Yeah, I'd make that motion now that all we're doing is asking for an allocation right now. And it's like last time, Troy and I agreed on this. Ask for as much as you can if we need to build that road into the industrial park.
So we have a
Is there a limit still
recommendation from the
10
county
million?
administrator to participate
And all
in
you're doing is setting
revenue
aside
sharing
that 10
program
million for future projects.
to approve, for the approval. Do you have an amount that we're going to request? We have a motion, we have a second. We have a motion, a second, any discussion? Here none, I'll do a roll call vote. So do we need to take action on this?
I'm gonna surprise you, aye.
Instead of wasting their time
The
trying to
church,
get costs
it's aye.
some
Okay.
indication forward.
We have more, before we go into closed session, I know we
Yeah, I'd make that motion
talked
now
about
that we,
this coming.
all we're doing is asking for an allocation right now.
We have a letter from the
And
county.
it's like last time, Troy and I agreed on
Would
this.
like to explain.
Ask for as much as you can if we need to build that road into the industrial park. Is there a limit still 10 million? And all you're doing is setting aside that 10 million for future projects.
Request asking for contract modification for increase.
Okay, we have a motion to have a second. We have a motion to second, any discussion? Here none, I'll do a roll call vote. Mr. Horny?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm going to surprise you. Aye.
And the chair votes aye. Okay. We have more, before we go into closed session, I know we talked about this coming from the Budget Committee, but we have a letter from the county attorney, and I'll let him, if he would like to explain his request.
Yes, I have to do that. I shuffle off. I sent a request asking for a contract modification for an increase in my hourly pay, about half the hours. I've been serving as county attorney since the fall of 2001, and we changed the pay structure in 2010. Used to be a straight hourly rate basis time, and there is more hours. Might have been changed before that. 2010, I think I was at $125 an hour. Requesting that be increased to $150 an hour. I think it's been 5 years since I've had a raise. I also have recently hired an associate to work with me that would be available to also do this contract every year, but do different projects that I can assign to him from that would be county work. I'd like to bill him a rate of $100 an hour to the county as an associate attorney. So I believe that Mr. Dawson asked how much would I shuffle off to the associate attorneys. Looking at the last invoice, maybe the last 2 invoices, he could probably do maybe about half of the hours. Again, that depends on what is the issue and whether he can do it or can't do it. So I think you still would have times where you may see more hours billed by me than him. Sometimes you'll see more hours billed by him than me. And I think that fluctuates. But I think it in the end round out to maybe about half. Again, that's an estimate, but that's what I think can happen. You know, review this contract every year at budget time, I think. Always propose modifications from your side to me as well. I propose to you. So the proposal is essentially to have a raise to $150 an hour and allow me to bill my associate $100 an hour.
I understand it, and we have put a lot on Scott in the past year. Okay. This will probably help clear up a lot of these things. Attorney, I'll entertain any motion. But a lot of this work on the associate, both of them are working at the same time, and it might even save us a little money.
Yeah, on
More hours, more complex issues in the last few months.
I think it'll save money in the end.
And the counties, you know, we're growing to more things happening, and, you know, we just have a lot of work to do.
Get things pushed through the county attorney.
So, I mean, I guess, Mr. Farley, is it your intention to, I mean, I understand it's according to your schedule at your firm, but anything that this associate attorney can do will probably be given to him?
I understand, and
if he
we
has
have put a lot on Scott in the
I don't want to say
past
the
year.
ability, but the experience and the
This will
time to
probably
do
help
it.
clear up a lot of these things.
Okay.
Where you can put a lot of this work on the associate. Both of them are working at the same time, and it might even save us a little money in the long run.
Yeah, on
With the work coming that's coming, save more time. More hours will be given me to find whatever I need. I think it'll save money in the end.
And the counties, you know, we're growing to more things happening, and cheaper than we're have a lot of
We're
work.
getting him cheaper and you more expensive.
Yeah, legal work.
So, I mean, I guess, Mr. Farley, is it your intention to, I mean, I understand it's according to your schedule at your firm, but anything that this associate attorney can do will probably be given to him if he has the I don't want to say the ability, but the experience and the time to do it. Okay.
An example would be, county attorney, can you confirm we can do X, right? It's a matter of looking at the code section, making sure it's in the code. He goes and finds it, reads it, gives me a memo on it. I said, yeah, that's right, I already coded it. And it saves me time because he's doing the work, find whatever I need, and then he says, here it is, and I look at it for 10 minutes and say, yeah, that's right.
In his time, we're paying him cheaper than we're paying you.
We're getting him cheaper and you more expensive.
That's right.
Scott, I noticed on the county invoice.
I thought I had access to it.
paying for excess security.
I'm paying.
You have privilege of that.
That's, right now, my priority the clerk's office, I'm not sure that I have access
All
to
law
this.
firms.
The law library requires that we have access to legal books and documents. What we've done.
Okay, now I'll entertain motions.
Mr. Chairman, seeing how I think that there will be a balance, I'll make the motion that we approve.
Have a second.
I'll second that.
Any more discussion?
That's the finest reference tool.
Hearing none, I'll do a roll call vote. Mr. Horning?
It amazes me you have.
Aye.
The chair votes aye.
I thought I had access.
Okay. Mr. Dalton, is there anything else we need to talk about before we go into closed
I'm
session?
paying the fee. If you want to contribute to that, I'll allow you to do that. Right now, my firm's paying.
Okay. Probably all law firms has that. Okay. Well, do we have anything under other? We'll do away with the closed session. Okay, now I'll entertain a motion to accept.
Mr. Chairman, seeing how I think that there will be a balance, I'll make the motion that we approve.
Have a second.
I'll second that.
Any more discussion? Hearing none, I'll do a roll call vote. Mr. Horning?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
The chair votes aye. Okay. Mr. Dalton, is there anything else we need to talk about before we go into closed session?
No, sir, and I have not set closed session for today, but it will do.
Okay.
I'll second
Okay. Well, do we have anything under other? Okay, change the closed session.
Not having a closed session. What happened?
Okay.
The assessment challenge, I can provide a report to that. So, Raleigh Construction tax assessment case will continue. We did, Raleigh Construction purchased that property, recommendation for settlement. So I guess I would say you go $400,000 closed session to purchase that by that property. There is a recommendation for me on the settlement. Case was continued based on the recommendation. We made the recommendation to the board and we're improving it. So it's not settled in this case, we just continue with it. Thank you for bringing that up. So we could go into closed session.
Well, it's real money, let's move with it.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, change the plan. We will.
Does it hurt the case we're talking about an open session? It does not. That's up to the board. It's just a challenge.
Okay.
Do that one more time. The assessment challenge was, property in the Emerson Building on Harrisburg Road, assessed at $1.4 million. Raleigh Construction purchased that property in 2012. In his opinion, was for $400,000. Careful sale of the land. Purchased that warehouse property and the adjoining lots. The building sits on 13-acre tract. There's an 8-acre tract that sits beside it. He bought both those tracts of land for $400,000. He turned around within 2 weeks and sold the 8-acre tract to Wythe Housing Authority for $500,000. So he got his money back right away. He has done some improvements on the warehouse. He's constructed some storage buildings there between the warehouse building and the hotel there on Harrisburg Road. He was challenging the assessment that 1.4 was too high. He had an appraisal, not technically an appraisal, but some kind of valuation completed at $580,000. I spoke with Mr. Hickey, who had done our assessment. And his opinion was, you have the comparable sale of the land next door to 8 acres that he sold immediately after he bought it. The problem, the challenge with the 13 acres in the warehouse building was there was some environmental issues that happened, were discovered some years ago, and the Emerson Company had to clean that up. That's correct. DEQ is still monitoring that, although they've given them a clean bill of health. It doesn't provide some stigma to that property. Their expert evaluation was hanging a lot on that environmental problem. There was
potential evidence from the community college board that the property was all lined down, and they rejected that storage due to the environmental reasons. It's going to be donated to them. They assessed it. He talked as if the same was done for the town, and they rejected the same reason, that I didn't know if that person was testified to that. In the end, the recommendation is that we settle the case really to knock off assessing the property at $1 million, $900,000 for 2012, 2000, 2 years without the storage building, $30 million. Right. That's correct. 2012, 2009. They paid 2012. I spoke to Mr. Hickey about 13, 14. He settled with an assessment of $900,000. He's had 4 cases for Smith County and Washington 15 and 16. The assessments at $1 million. The difference in that $100,000 is that storage building that got put up last year in storage units that are on the assessment this year. They assessed those at $177,000 value. So when we were talking in the $1 million range, that as the new assessment for that structure came up, it was proposed by Riley Construction. $1 million puts you really to knock off 177 from the million. And I said no, he's got to settle that a little bit. So it comes the risk down 900 less than that for 2 years without the storage building, and $1 million. He could testify after that for 2 years, and you want to have your reassessment done in 2007. He wasn't sure about the environmental. I spoke to Mr. Hickey about that. Mr. Hickey had indicated that he felt he's had 4 cases in Smith County and Washington County. I don't know what time frame we're talking about, maybe the past 2 years or 3 years construction. His opinion was that the end result was the courts have been finding about down the middle from what the assessment was and what the person was claiming comes down to risk value. The courts were falling somewhere roughly in the middle of that. So 1.4, their claim was 580, 583 to 600. Environmental issues. $1 million puts you almost right in the middle of that assessment. His opinion was he thought that was a good settlement. It cuts the risk down of it being less than that. He felt the recommendation he could testify in support is 1.4, or at least most of it. He wasn't sure about the environmental and how that would play out. And judges are unpredictable as to what they're going to do sometimes. They haven't paid taxes, so most of the time it's their decision to make. So he was on board with that recommendation from offer from Riley Construction. He thought it was a good settlement. Hopefully anything as well result from the action. I agreed with him. It cuts down the risk of paying it something less than $1 million very soon. And then we're going to have a reassessment again in 2 years. So the reassessment can address the environmental issues now that that's made known and adjust that assessment accordingly. And any new improvements that they're making to the building now as they're using it to rent out warehouse space. So the recommendation is the $900,000 for 13, 14, $1 million for 15, 16. And then the assessment would be done in 2017.
And then they'll pay taxes on whatever.
They haven't paid taxes since they filed suit, which they haven't paid for 13. So that adjustment will be made, and then we would have them pay those taxes currently through 2014. Hopefully get them to pay 2015 as well, at the same time we're doing this. They're almost due, whether they will or not. Definitely going to pay 13, 14 very soon. And as part of that settlement agreement that they paid when they signed the settlement agreement and catch the taxes. The assessment is the day of assessment of $70 when it comes next to 12. January 1st, 2012 is when David did.
I'd like to have 2 comments. Everybody needs to understand we're talking about assessed value and not real tax.
Same thing on their side.
The other thing is when they took away that first piece down there for $500 million, that virtually took that out of tax base for the county and the town. Housing development authority will never pay taxes on it again. So that's just a continued depletion of revenue county. One of the positive things I think the good side building is when they had that evaluation of their called an appraisal, they had re-roofed that whole Emerson building, and that could, the value of that could have figured into it backward thinking.
Well, the day of the assessment is the day of the assessment roof was developed. 2012. January 1st, 2012 is when David did continue when they did the assessment. So he's valuing that building as of that date. So don't go back and change his view or his valuation. Same thing on their side. They've got to value that building as it was on January 1st, 2012 for the assessment change. At that time, the building had not been redone. There is a way to do that as far
But
as.
the new appraisal, with everybody believing that assessments are gonna go down,
So that's another way
it
to
behooves
value that property.
the county to emphasize how much better that building is than it was in the last time. Because it has had significant improvements to the property, and we should oppose these general backward thinking on properties that have been improved and developed during that time. They are new assets.
That's right. And when they do the assessment, they can do it based on the cost to build it as well as what income it produces. So, yeah, that's like the income producing property with the warehouse space rented and the available space available to rent. You know, so they can potentially cover those at this time. They do the work on the valuation, I don't understand it all. There is a way to do that as far as your income producing, and they value the property based on the income it can produce. So that's another way to value that property in 2017, so we did an assessment.
We have a recommendation from council to accept the settlement.
I think it's like
I have a motion.
$2,500 or $2,000 a year.
I guess the only difference, Wythe County has an ordinance that if we do proration, so we didn't prove that the area adds to
Yeah,
its
the offer's been
house,
made.
it changes the assessment. So it's not exactly like 2012. Any improvements that we get proration, we get to add to that.
Yeah, like the storage buildings, they would add the extra $118 storage buildings to the assessment proposal. That's being part of this settlement. I agreed on the cover that would make that recommendation for so if they built another set of storage units out there next year, then they would increase the assessment. They're good as far as those numbers go. My recommendation to the board is to accept that settlement.
Okay, we have a recommendation from council to accept the settlement. I have a motion. I have a second.
I'll second.
I have a motion, second. County attorney's recommendation
Will they accept that?
for the settlement.
Yeah, the offer's
Any
been
more
made
discussion?
for the $900,000.
Hearing none, I'll do a roll call vote. Dr. Housman.
Aye.
$1 billion for 15-16.
Chair votes aye.
Includes the storage building. And then
Mr. Dalton, any
reassessments
other
the
business
reassessment
need to come
to
before the board at this
17
time? Does any board
They
member
made
have
a
anything
proposal.
to bring before the board?
I agreed on.
Hearing none, I'll recess this until Wednesday, which is tomorrow, August the 26th at 5 p.m. at First Bank.
So they're
Yeah,
good as far
we-
as those numbers.
We meet over there, not here.
I'd like
Okay.
to make that motion. I think the continuation of this is going to eat up the opportunity for gain, especially with your new raise.
That's right.
I have a second.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second to accept the county attorney's recommendation for the settlement. Any more discussion? Hearing none, I'll do a roll call vote. Dr. Housman.
Aye.
Aye.
The chair votes aye. Mr. Dalton, any other business need to come before the board at this time? Does any board member have anything to bring before the board? Hearing none, I'll recess this until Wednesday, which is tomorrow, August the 26th at 5 p.m. at First Bank.
That, we meet over there, not here.
Yeah.
Okay.